More legal issues for Austin ISD and longtime drama teacher there. We're now hearing from two former Bowie High School students who joined a federal lawsuit against AISD. Back in September, the KVUE Defenders first reported on a group of former Bowie High School students suing theater director Diane Betsy Cornwell. Here's investigative reporter Jenny Lee.
As we've already reported, the lawsuit claims Diane Betsy Cornwell created an unsafe and toxic environment for students, subjected them to private romance rehearsals, and inappropriately touched them. Cornwell has been on paid leave since the allegations came out, but new claims against Cornwell now include assault and failure to report sexual assault.
I remember my friends and I kind of cheering
after watching other James Bowie High School alumni come forward in September.
Like legitimately getting very excited seeing that something was happening.
Rose Collins did the same.
Dang, we didn't realize there were so many people who also had these experiences.
The now 21-year-old is one of four who joined the federal lawsuit against Austin ISD in January after her experience in the Starlight Theater Company at Bowie High School from 2015 to 2019. The lawsuit claims Rose was sexually assaulted by another student in the theater group and that theater director Diane Betsy Cornwell declined to remove or otherwise discipline that student.
So we were spending most days after school together, and he would come up and grab my boobs and my butt in and out of the rehearsal space and just really make me uncomfortable.
Rose says she told the student to stop, but he didn't. The suit claims when Cornwell, another theater director, and the school counselor discovered the sexual assaults, Rose says she was told by the counselor her only option was to file a police report.
If I didn't want to take it to the police, then I would just have to put up with it.
Rose says she didn't feel comfortable going to the police because she enjoyed theater too much and feared retribution from Cornwell. In the lawsuit, Rose claims Cornwell forced her to continue working alongside the student who groped her. It took a toll.
I know that my family saw a rapid decline in mental health starting in my freshman year that I don't think I really recovered from until I graduated. There was a long period of suicidal thoughts and ideation.
Sarah Alessandro says she can relate.
I think my experience in the theater department was stressful and felt very toxic.
Sarah was part of Bowie's Starlight Theater Company from 2007 to 2011. Like other plaintiffs, Sarah remembers Cornwell's emotional recall exercises. According to the lawsuit, these exercises force students to use past traumas to trigger raw emotions in front of their peers,
often leading to the person having a full-on emotional breakdown, as in my case.
Sarah says she broke down after sharing her mother's suicide attempt.
I think it's deplorable. I think it's awful. And it's one of those things that I think back on and have a hard time even believing that it really happened.
Sarah also claims that during a rehearsal, Cornwell intentionally tripped Sarah, pulling her off the stage and onto the floor by her ankles as Cornwell laughed hysterically.
I was scared and really confused, and she was laughing while she did it too.
After dropping Cornwell from the federal lawsuit, a total of 9 former students are now suing AISD, demanding the district make several changes, including proper training and monitoring theater instructors and removing Cornwell's name from Bowie's new Performing Arts Center. Bowie High School tweeted a picture of Cornwell posing with the facility named for her in August of last year, which triggered the original group of former students to sue.
The name on the building just was too much for me.
In September, Andy Haddad was among the original group of former students who told the KVUE Defenders about their experiences with Cornwell. Walden Hagelman was another. She described one private rehearsal with Cornwell that went too far.
She instructed the other student to stand behind me, and we were still doing the lines, and we were making out, and open mouths, tongues, and she wasn't satisfied. And as she was egging us on, telling us to look married, telling us to look passionate, he put his hands under my shirt, he touched my breasts, he put his other hand sort of under the band of my jeans.
Just last month, Hagelman, Haddad, and Dana Havlin filed a new lawsuit against Cornwell, this time in state district court. For a better understanding of state and federal laws involved in the lawsuits, we asked two independent experts to weigh in: employment and civil rights attorney Austin Kaplan and Texas Advocacy Project CEO Heather Bellino. Neither is involved in the lawsuits. Let's start with the most recent lawsuit filed in state district court. In it, Hagelman, Haddad, and Havlin claimed Cornwell violated two state laws: indecency with a child and sexual performance of a child. Kaplan says both criminal codes have lengthy statutes of limitations. In fact, there is no statute of limitation for prosecuting someone for indecency with a child.
You can be prosecuted for indecency with a child, even if it took years or decades to discover. And the other one, sexual performance by a child, that one is essentially 20 years from the child's 18th birthday in terms of criminal prosecution.
The federal lawsuit accuses Austin ISD of violating Title IX, a civil rights law the Texas Advocacy Project regularly helps students navigate. Title IX prohibits sex discrimination at educational institutions that receive federal funding. Sex discrimination comes in several forms, including sexual assault, sexual harassment, and unwanted sexual comments. The federal lawsuit also states Austin ISD created a hostile educational environment created by the district's lack of policies, procedures, and a failed Title IX reporting system.
You have certain rights and protections.
Bellino says under Title IX, teachers and administrators are required to follow a set of guidelines once a student reports a sexual assault to them, which includes reporting a student's allegations to authorities.
There are things that the institution must do to be held accountable, and if they don't do that, then there are consequences.
Among the consequences for Title IX violations is loss of funding. We've reached out to Austin ISD and Cornwell and have not heard back. We do know the district has filed motions to dismiss the federal lawsuit. Cornwell has not filed a response to the Travis County lawsuit. Previously, Cornwell's attorney told us she is not allowed to discuss this matter. Cornwell has worked for AISD for more than 40 years, and records show she makes $85,000 a year and has been on paid leave since August. We asked how long she'd continue to be on paid leave, but again, no response from AISD. For the KVUE Defenders, I'm Jenny Lee.
Jenny, thank you. You can find even more about this story on our website. That, of course, is kvue.com.